Part 4, más de otros. So we've talked about subject pronouns, talked about yo forms, we've talked about irregular yo verbs, we've talked about the verb tener, and we've talked about how to say what you do. Now, let's talk about other people. We're going to learn how to talk about other people and their activities. As with any action word in Spanish, there are 2 ways to go about this. You can memorize the words, which is the preferred method, makes your conversations faster, it makes it easier to communicate later, or you can learn how to conjugate the verbs. So, the yo forms, you take off the last 2 letters and add an O. The to forms, take off the last 2 letters and add ES or AS. ES for IR and ER verbs, AS for AR verbs. For the L form, you take off the last 2 letters and add either E or A. E for ER and IR verbs, A for AR verbs. Okay, so, por ejemplo, comer ends in ER, so take off the ER, add an E for the L form. He eats becomes él come. For hablar, it ends in AR, so take off the AR, add A for the L form. He speaks becomes él habla. What does she do? Notice these are exactly the same. The AF form, you take off the last 2 letters and you add an E or an A. So comer becomes come, ella come, she eats. Hablar becomes habla, ella habla, she speaks. Preguntas. ¿Qué hace él en su tiempo libre? What does he do in his free time? ¿Qué hace ella en su tiempo libre? What does she do in her free time? ¿Qué hace él los fines de semana? What does he do on weekends? ¿Qué hace ella los viernes? What does she do on Fridays? ¿Qué hace él con su familia? What does he do with his family? And these are just some examples. Here are some example verbs. Baila could be he dances or she dances. Remember, you want to include él or ella. Canta, he sings or she sings. Caza, he hunts or she hunts. Corre, he runs or she runs. Dibuja, he draws or she draws. Duerme, he sleeps or she sleeps. Escribe, he writes or she writes. Escucha, he listens or she listens. Estudia, he studies or she studies. Habla, he speaks or she speaks. Some more examples. Hace ejercicio, he exercises or she exercises. Hace tarea, he does homework or she does homework. Juega las cartas, he plays cards or she plays cards. Juega los videojuegos, he plays video games or she plays video games. Juega al, and then insert any kind of sport there. So, juega al fútbol, he plays soccer, she plays soccer. Lee, he reads or she reads. Pesca, he fishes or she fishes. Practica deportes, he practices sports or she practices sports. Some more examples. Usa la computadora, he uses the computer or she uses the computer. Ve la tele, he watches TV, also she watches TV. Mira los deportes, he watches sports, she watches sports. Va de compras, he goes shopping or she goes shopping. Trabaja, he works or she works. Toca la guitarra, he plays guitar or she plays guitar. Or as usual, you can say that he or she doesn't have much free time. Ella no tiene mucho tiempo libre. She doesn't have much free time. Él no tiene mucho tiempo libre. She doesn't have much free time. Okay, so that's it for singular people.